Good day everyone, welcome back to Ed's Garage at Merton Hyundai. So today I'm going to do a little bit of an update on my last Palisade video. This is the 2021 Hyundai Palisade Calligraphy trim. So this is the top model in the Palisade. If you haven't already checked out my other Palisade videos, please check the description below. You're going to see a couple in there. I've done a drive on a Palisade Luxury, so I'm not going to drive this one today because they drive basically the same way. But what I am going to do is show you all the cool features in the 2021 Calligraphy, and we're going to start at the back. All right, so first cool feature on the Palisade. In the Luxury and the Calligraphy trims, you get the Smart Power liftgate. Now, if you haven't heard of that before, this is how it works. So I'm not doing anything, not pressing any buttons, not doing a little dance, doing nothing, just standing here patiently, and boom, it opens up in 4.5 seconds. So that's actually one of the quickest opening tailgates in the industry, and that makes a difference, right, when you're holding your stuff and you don't want to be standing there forever. Now in the back here, we have a little bit of underfloor storage. So you'll notice we've got a privacy cover here that does come free with the vehicle, as well as a cargo net. At least it does in Canada. I assume that's probably the same in the States, but who knows. That's a little bit of underfloor storage there. We've got two buttons here to lay down the third row, so let's try that out. There we go. And then we've also got two buttons right here to lay down the second row. So we press those two buttons and they flop down. Now this vehicle is also equipped with a Harman Kardon system. It's a 16-speaker Harman Kardon audio system with the subwoofer there, the center channel in the front, and of course, 14 other speakers aside from those. All right, also on the back, you have the backup sensors on the bumper. You got the twin chrome exhaust, and new for 2021 is this new fascia on the back here. It's a brushed aluminum look, and it's got these little lines in it, just kind of looks a little bit nicer. And of course we have the button to close the hatch. Now you can actually set this up so that the tailgate stops at a certain height simply by holding that button until it beeps twice. All right, big change on the wheels for 2021. The 20-inch aluminum alloy wheels look a little bit more sporty on this vehicle. So they've changed the wheels and they definitely do look really, really nice. All right, so now all the doors are locked at the moment. There is a button on both of the front handles. When you press this button here, as long as you've got the proximity key with you, you can unlock the doors. So we're gonna press it twice to unlock all the doors. All right, now that I got the seat back up, I'm going to show you how to get into the third row. So if you're a small child, Hyundai's actually thought of you. They put a little button right here, but there's another button up here if you're not. If you can't reach that one, they actually thought of you and they put a little button down there. So basically you just press one of those two buttons, the seat slides forward, and you can climb into the back. So let's give it a quick shot. Now I'm 6'2", so I probably wouldn't ordinarily be getting into the third row, but let's have a look anyway. All right, so first things first, the seat is actually quite cushy. It's nice and soft. My legs are up a bit. Of course, again, I am 6'2". Let's put this seat back. All right, so you can see we can lock the second row in there if we want. However, it will, of course, go further back. Let me try to demonstrate that. Okay, so there we go. That's back all the way now. And now you can see my knees are up against the seat, but you know what? That's okay, because I'm not going to be sitting back here anyway. So let's change that. There we go. Now, as I mentioned, we can recline the seat just by pressing this button here. And it reclines to that position. And note how much headroom I've got back here. So again, I'm 6'2", I'm a 50-50 split. I'm not long torso or long legs. I'm kind of half-half, and I still got lots of room back here. Also back here, we do have the little the vents. There is a diffuser, which is kind of cool. So instead of having air blowing directly on you, you can actually set it to diffuse, which kind of just makes this area cool down or warm up. While we're looking at the roof, notice the beautiful suede headliner. It's a really, really nice fabric. It actually comes all the way down to the belt line. Also got two cup holders back here and a USB port. Guys, there are 7 USB ports in this vehicle, and with the 7-seater option, you get 14 cup holders in total. On the 8-seat version, you get 16 cup holders. Also back here, you can see we've got the ultrasonic sensors. Now this actually detects movement in the vehicle, so God forbid there's a child or a pet of some sort left in the vehicle. This will actually send a text message using BlueLink to your cell phone, and it'll set the car alarm off as well. So That's a pretty cool feature. All right, so I've quickly just adjusted the second row seat to where my knees would just barely touch it. So this is still a pretty comfortable place to be. And now I'm actually going to get into the second row seat to see what sort of space I have in front of me. All right, so sitting in the second row now, I've actually gone ahead and adjusted the front seat to my driving position as a 6'2" individual. And you can see I still have lots of room up here. But you know what's cool is I haven't moved this second row seat. So if there's nobody behind me, check this out. Now I've got even more room. All right, so check that out. Lots of leg room, tons of headroom as well. The floor is nice and flat, so I can really stretch out my legs. Well, stretch them out. I can stretch them out a little bit and put them underneath the seat. Both of the seat backs have pockets. There is heated and ventilated seats back here. So you got your ventilated seats, three levels of seat heat, automatic single zone climate control back here, dual zone in the front, of course. We've also got a 115 volt power outlet. So home style power outlet there. It's kind of cool. Another 12 volt power outlet there, and USB ports on the insides of the seat backs here. So pretty cool, lots of functionality back here. As I mentioned, 2 cup holders in each of the doors. Sorry, 3, there's a bottle holder down here. That's where those other ones were, that's right. And then in the doors, you actually have sunshades as well. Check this out. Pretty cool. Now, one thing I can't show you because it's just too bright, there is actually a strip of LEDs here, so you have mood lighting in the back, as well as, of course, in the front. You can change that mood lighting to whatever color you want. You can even choose a custom color. I think there's 256 color choices in total, so pretty cool. Right, the other thing that we have back here, of course, is the huge panoramic roof. Check that out. Now, this particular glass does not open. The one in the front does, so the double panel sunroof. Lots of light into the cabin, which is kind of a nice option. All right, before we jump in the front seat, I wanted to show you a couple things on the front of the vehicle. So new for 2021 is this grille design. So they got rid of the old grille design because, again, there were some customers complaining about the fact that the luxury trim and lower trims had a nicer grille than the Calligraphy. So Hyundai listened and they put on a very similar grille to the lower trims. However, they did still want to have a little bit of a unique definition in the front of the Calligraphy. So they kind of put these little lines in here. These are a different shape as well, but you know what? It looks really good. And of course, you can see the front-facing camera there. That's the parking camera. There's also a camera up in the windshield, which you can kind of see right here. So that's for the forward autonomous emergency braking system, lane detection, pedestrian detection, cyclist detection. All of that is being figured out with that camera. And then right beside it, not sure if you can see it right here, there's actually a rain sensor for the rain sensing wiper. So what it does is it bounces infrared light off of rain droplets, and then that's then captured and the vehicle is able to determine how much water's on the windshield. Pretty cool. Also in the front, we have the forward-facing radar system. That is for the adaptive cruise control system, as well as the autonomous emergency braking. We've got parking sensors on the front, so not just on the back, but on the front as well. Full LED lighting, so you got your LED daytime running light. For the Calligraphy, you get the extra little pass-through in the bumper. It's kind of neat. So don't mind the weird lines, guys. This is just all lit up. You can't see that in person. It's just the refresh rate on the camera. You've got LED headlights, LED high beams, LED turn signals. It all looks really stunning up here. Beautiful vehicle. All right, let's go ahead and pop the hood on this beautiful Palisade. So again, Hyundai trying to make things as easy as possible. They've got the hood latch mechanism right above the Hyundai badge, and then struts to hold up the hood. So we're looking at a 3.8 liter V6 engine. This is a gas direct injection engine mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now this is putting out 291 horsepower, 262 foot-pounds of torque. And there's a couple things I want to point out inside here. So check this out. Hyundai is ridiculously meticulous with everything that they do. They've got a factory cold air intake that's pulling cold air in from the grill here. We've got a very easily accessible air filter, which I'm not going to pull out right now, of course, because the engine's running. But check that out. You can replace your own air filter in all of about 1 minute. Everything's really easily accessible under here. It's all well protected. There's no exposed sharp metal anywhere, so as you're working on the vehicle in the future, it's going to be a lower cost of ownership because everything's really easy to get to. The other thing to consider is the amount of structural adhesive that's used. You can see the structural adhesive right here. So Hyundai is one of those companies, One of those very few companies that uses hundreds and hundreds of feet of structural adhesive in the construction of the vehicle. Structural adhesive is used heavily in the airline industry to hold airplanes 30,000 feet in the air with 300 passengers, so it's probably a good thing. This vehicle has well over 400 feet of structural adhesive, which is about 10 times as much as the competition. Of course, the other thing to note is that we've got a 5-year, 100,000 kilometer warranty that covers almost everything on the vehicle. So that's a little better than most companies here in Canada that provide only a 3-year, 60,000 new car coverage. We're looking at a 5-year, 100,000 K coverage. Great warranty, 5 years of roadside assistance as well. And then of course you also get 3 years of free BlueLink. BlueLink technology, you can actually remote start the car from your cell phone, find it on a map. You can lock the doors, unlock the doors, all from your cell phone. It also has autonomous emergency services calling. If you get into an accident, there's an SOS button you can press to do the same. And you can call for roadside assistance very easily as well. All right, don't forget guys, safety is important. This one has a lot of safety features. I want to quickly touch on that. So it is a top safety pick. It's actually a top safety pick plus. It's the highest possible rating by the International Institute of Highway Safety. And some of the reasons for that are, first off, the steel usage. Hyundai is the only manufacturer of their own steel. Nobody else does that. So we use a lot of advanced high-strength steel. This vehicle has, I think, something like 70% advanced high-strength steel construction in the superstructure of the vehicle. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact number, but they used to publish it, now they don't. But the old one was, I think, 67%. In any event, lots of high-strength steel, which, again, no other company can do because nobody else is making their own steel. As a matter of fact, other manufacturers buy their steel from Hyundai. So, pretty neat. We have the blind spot monitoring system, of course. You can see the little icon in the mirror that lights up when there's a car in your blind spot. Now, Hyundai was, as far as I know, the first company to offer blind spot monitoring assist. So if there is a car in your blind spot and you put your turn signal on, obviously you're going to get that audible tone, but it also will actually yank you back into your own lane using the opposite side's brakes if you start to drift over that way. Pretty neat technology. So on top of that, you have the marker light on the mirror. So not only will you be able to see that there's a car in your blind spot, but they'll also see your intentions, because when your turn signal is on, that'll be the only light they can see. They're not going to be able to see the back one or the front one. They'll be able to see the one on the mirror. That's what those are there for, guys. Speaking of the mirror, there's actually also a puddle lamp right here that lights up at night as you approach the vehicle, and then lights inside of the door handles as well that light up. Pretty neat. All right, now as well as the autonomous emergency braking in the front, there's actually got rear autonomous braking as well as part of the rear cross traffic alert system, which of course uses the blind spot monitoring system as well. So tons of features that are related to safety in this vehicle. So if safety is of utmost importance to you, the Palisade is certainly no slouch. All right. Let's check out some of the features in the front of the Palisade. So one thing I want to show you real quick before I get too far in depth is the easy access seating. I'm going to go ahead and shut the vehicle off and you'll see what happens to the seat. So not only is it moving back, it's also going down a little bit to make it easier to get in and out of the vehicle. Kind of a neat technology. But speaking of the seat, we have height adjustment, tilt adjustment. So this is tilt right here. This is height. This is the calf support right here. And then there's a 4-way lower back support as well. And of course you got your backrest. So lots of manipulation of the seat. That is a 14-way adjustable power seat. And then of course your headrest adjust as well. Now there are memory buttons inside the vehicle here, inside the door. So memory driver settings 1 and 2. That will not only control your seat, but it'll also control your mirrors, your lighting levels, and a couple other things like presets on the stereo as well. All right, let's fire up the 2021 Palisade. Okay, so we're going to start down here in the console. So we've got 2 cup holders in here as mentioned, and those can actually be folded out of the way. So if you just need some extra space in here, you have lots of space now. Of course, we can quickly put them back out by hitting these 2 buttons. We've got wireless Qi charging right here, so your wireless phone charging. USB port there for, of course, the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which will show up on this beautiful 10.25-inch screen. You can also cover up this whole section here, and there's a additional USB port down here and 12-volt power outlet. Lots of storage space in here as well. Now I mentioned earlier the driver's seat. This seat also has adjustable height and adjustable tilt, and it's all power on the passenger side as well. Now with the interior on the Palisade, in the Calligraphy trim, you do get this Napa leather interior. So you get this beautiful quilted material as well in the seats and the door panels. This is the Harbor Gray Napa leather interior, guys. And of course the beige headliner as well. Optional colors on some trim levels, or some, not trim levels, some exterior colors. This particular one has the Beckett's black exterior. Okay, let's check out some of the other cool features. So on the left of the dashboard, you can see we've got the dashboard lighting level. That's pretty, this is a dimmer switch. There's your blind spot monitoring system. This one of course does have lane keep assist and highway follow assist. It's pretty cool. You've got the power e-brake here. On the steering wheel, you've got the paddle shifters on the back of the wheel, of course. You've got voice recognition, which of course there is a built-in system, and this will also access the Google Assistant and Siri on an Apple phone. On this side of the steering wheel, you have your adaptive cruise control button as well as your trip computer buttons. This is all for cruise, these ones here. This adaptive cruise allows you to change the distance that you're following the car in front of you, and it of course will maintain that distance whether it needs to speed up or slow down. Looking at the center console, you can see we've got the shift-by-wire transmission. Love this transmission, guys. I'm going to show you something really cool. I'm going to go ahead and put my seatbelt on. All right, now I'm going to put the car in drive, and I'm going to drive it a little bit. Just going to get out of the way for these guys here. All right, so now when I take my seatbelt off and I open up the door, the car quickly flips back into park. Check that out. I didn't realize it, but I actually had this door open already. But in any case, what it does is as soon as you turn the car off or you open your door and take your seatbelt off, it quickly puts it back into park for you in case you forget. So pretty cool. Now, of course, this one has the smart mode, sport mode, eco mode, and comfort. And then you've also got terrain drive modes as well, so snow, mud, and sand. Smart mode is basically going to look at your driving habits to see, you know, if you're driving aggressively or economically, and it's going to adjust accordingly. Sport mode, and I'll show you what it looks like when you put it in sport mode. It's kind of cool. So this is all the different modes here. Pretty neat. So sport mode actually will tighten up the steering wheel and give you a little bit more low-end throttle response. It'll also adjust the all-wheel drive system a bit as well, putting more power to the rear wheels under acceleration, that sort of thing. Eco mode is going to save you some money on the highway by making the vehicle a little bit more sluggish. And comfort mode is going to make everything just a little bit more lackadaisical. The steering wheel is going to be a little looser, shifts are going to be a bit smoother, that sort of thing. We also have, of course, ventilated seats, heated seats, full 360-degree leather-wrapped heated steering wheel with the perforated section where your handholds are. Really nice, comfortable steering wheel to hold. We've also got the auto hold button. So auto hold, basically when you have the vehicle in drive, auto hold will stop the vehicle from creeping forward when you take your foot off the brake. And then it'll allow you to go forwards as soon as you touch the gas. On this side here, you got your hill descent assist, which works up to 40 kilometers an hour. When you press that button, it will reduce the speed down to 8 kilometers an hour. You got your parking sensors here. This is where you can enable and disable the parking sensors. The view button is if you want to have the camera system on while you're in drive. So if we put it into drive, there we can see the camera system. And of course, you got those nice dynamic steering lines on the top-down 360 view. And in reverse, of course, you'll have dynamic steering lines on both sides. And then the auto start stop system, of course, you can turn that off if you don't want it. So that's what that button is for. As I mentioned before, we do have 3-zone climate control. So automatic climate control, you can access the rear controls from here simply by pressing rear, and then you get them on the screen here. So you can change the temperature on the rear climate control system. You can actually turn off the auto system if you want, and you can lock out the rear passengers from being able to change it. Pretty neat. Now, one of the cool things with the automatic climate control is if you've had the recirculate on for too long, it will automatically switch to fresh air just to make sure that you're not going to get too tired to drive the vehicle. There is actually even a driver alertness system that will monitor how alert you are and remind you to take a break if you've been on the road too long and if your input to the steering wheel is a little bit too jerky. So pretty neat. Okay, along the row here we've got all the buttons for the stereo. Now the stereo buttons are in close proximity to the screen. It's kind of nice, so the only thing separating them is a couple of vents, but no extra buttons for other components, so that's nice, keeps everything simple. Now on the screen, as I mentioned, you've got a 10.25 inch screen here. Tons of stuff you can do. Obviously you've got the built-in map. What's really nice about this screen, guys, is you can actually separate it. So if you want to have sort of a 60-40 split or a 70-30 split or whatever this is, you can have the map on this side, and then you can have your stereo, the outside temperature, passenger talk. By the way, passenger talk's pretty cool. You can press that, and I don't know if you can hear it, but from the rear seat now, it's actually picking up my voice from up here and transferring it to the rear. It's pretty cool. So if you got to talk to the kids in the back. You've also got your compass, which will be your turn-by-turn directions, your time, and then you can even have a map on there a second time, which is kind of funny. In the radio screen, you can do the same. You can actually have the radio on one side and the map on the other, or you can have the radio full screen. So new radio design for 2021, a little bit different from the 2020s. Kind of a neat look. It's got these sort of vacuum tube looking things to show you your channel. Of course, there is HD audio and some other really pretty cool features that you only get with that Harman Kardon audio system. All right, looking a little further up, we've got the auto dimming rear view mirror with the 3 HomeLink buttons. And then further up still, we have the controls for the BlueLink system. As I mentioned, you've got the SOS button there. This is for Google Navigation Assistance, call for roadside assistance, and then you've got your controls for your interior lighting as well as your sunroof. Now, each of the sun visors in the front does have the ability to slide out, and they've both got mirrors and lights as well. That's on both sides. All right, last but not least, we have the instrument cluster. So I was showing you a little bit on this instrument cluster before, like when you change the drive modes, you get the different looks to the instrument cluster, which is kind of cool. Obviously, there's a lot of things we can change and manipulate in here. For instance, we can have the all-wheel drive system, which will indicate where power is going to at any given time. You can have the lane keep assist information, back to the compass there. Let's see what else we can do. Yeah, and then you can have a couple things on the right-hand side here as well. So there's a lot of different settings you can have. There's your tire pressure monitor, your attention level, as I mentioned before, your accumulated information, trip information, fuel economy, all that stuff comes up in there. Now, of course, this one also has the blind view monitor. So if we put on a turn signal, it actually shows us a view down that side of the vehicle, whether it's the left or the right turn signal. Pretty cool. Now, as I mentioned before, at least I think I did, this one does also have the head-up display, which I think you can see right there, which will display things like your speedometer, your speed limit, the station, the radio station that you're listening to, the blind spot monitoring information, lane keep assist information. All of that comes up in there. It's pretty cool. Guys, that's pretty much it for the Palisade. I think I've covered kind of everything on the vehicle already. If you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to leave them below. I always look forward to answering your questions. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.